So the case management model platform that we're choosing to use is Archivum. It is a homegrown system that's built with the assistance of Appian and our IT team. And this system is wonderful in the sense that we get to make it what we want, how it will serve us best. And us are all of the care team partners, not just the Office of Academic Advocacy building this. So we have buy-in from people across campus who can say, I need this. If this is in the system, that's exactly what will make me want to use it. So what I've taken a snapshot of here is my dashboard. So when I log into the system, I can see that I have various referrals because I've taken up my cases, and these are the dates that they were created and by whom on campus, and we can assign them a priority and severity. So is this something that needs to be addressed like today, or is this something that can wait a week? From there, if I were to select, let me go back. Let's say one of the students, now you'll see I've whited out the students, but let's say I picked one of them. It would then bring me to this page. This is all of the students' information that's pulled from Banner. So everything that they have in the Banner system is what's going to pull in here, along with their student ID picture. Right now, this person's Rocky for privacy purposes. But I can see that this student has quite a history. So I can see that her advisor, Renee Ford, has done multiple outreach attempts. So instead of me having to call the advisor and say, hey, have you heard from this student because she's not registered next semester, I can see that Renee's tried 3 separate times to reach out to this student to have their holds removed and be able to register. Then I can see in January that there was a case opened for this student because they appeared on our Civitas list. What that means is if they're on our Civitas list, there's probably some concern about the student persisting into the next semester. And then you can see where I reached out to this student the following week. This student is assigned a care team, and the care team is similar to what you'll see, I believe, like I said, it's page 13, I think, in the student success flyer. So this student has an academic advocate. They have a representative from the Academic Success Center. That's our tutoring writing studio. They have a library professional staff member, a peer advisor leader, that's from our new student connections office, as well as a residence life coordinator. So all of the people in the system are professional staff members. We do not have any students or student peer mentors who have access to the system for privacy purposes. So what has this done? What has implementing a case management model and all of this across campus support provided the university? Well, you'll notice in 2010 when the student success movement was started, we were at an 86% freshman persistence rate. We've been able to bump that all the way up to 91% this last semester. So 2016 cohort would be in fall 17, we were able to retain 91% of them. Our 6-year graduation rate, I think, has seen the biggest improvement with this case management model. So we went from 51% all the way up to 70%, which is an amazing jump when you consider almost 20 percentage points in just a few short years. So it's working, right? It's providing the students the right timing of support and helping them not only just persist one semester, but long-term persist. So some of the resources I shared in my presentation, I just wanted to give them a shout out. So Civitas Learning, which are actually here on campus, Bessie, and then Appian, who is the creator or foundational base for our Archivum Insights platform, which is the backbone of our case management model. So what I think we're gonna do, we're gonna take questions at the end. So I'm gonna let the next presenters go. If you have any questions at all, if you'll just write them down and then we'll address them when we finish up.
It's always hard to come behind a great speaker, right? But we'll try. We'll try the best that we can. My name is Wayne Jackson. I'm the director of the Multicultural Academic and Support Services Office. And
good afternoon, everyone. My name is Tamino, and I'm assistant director in the Multicultural Academic and Support Services Office.
Good afternoon. My name is Jeremy Jones. I'm the coordinator for the Mass Office.
So when you talk about UCF, if you know anything about us, we're big. No if, no ands, no buts about it. And so because we're big, that's our motto. Scale times excellence equals impact. In other words, how big of a program, in our particular aspect, how big of a program can we have? Is it excellent? And then how are we impacting students? Because that's the reality. How can we impact students to help them be successful so that they can get through this big university? When I talked about big, that's how big we are right now. 66,138 students. Huge. Really huge. Our demographics. 46% of our students are minorities, 25% are first generation. And just to provide you with some insight, our office works with all multicultural and or first generation students on the campus. So our database is huge, as you can see, because those are all of the people that we're working with. What's our mission? To maximize student success at the university for our multicultural and first generation students. We're trying to make sure that they are engaged, that they become acclimated at the institution, because one of the things that we found out is that if the student is not engaged, the chances of them leaving have now increased dramatically. So what you'll see from us is we're doing all different types of interventions, all different types of things to get students to come and see us and to get involved. One of the things we did just last week, I can't believe I agreed to it, but I did. We went bowling. Somebody say, yeah? Yes. Not at 10 o'clock at night. I'm like, I have never went and bowled at midnight. I got home at like 1:30. I'm like, I don't know if this is going to happen again. I mean, really? Bowling at midnight at my age? Now, he can do it. He's young. Me? Our vision is to be a national leader in working with these students and really trying to provide insights on how we can help them be successful. Can we skip one? Nope.
Go over.
Oh, there it is. All right. So, how do we assist? Well, one of the things we do is we're, once again, trying to help them make the transition from high school to college, from the state college to our university, because there are no state colleges in the state of Florida that are as big as UCF. And I can't tell you how many times I've had students come to my office from state colleges, and they're like this. I mean, their eyes are wide. I'm like, you okay? I remember one young lady came, she says, I mean, I knew this place was big, but oh my God, it's just huge. And so our job is to help them make that transition, providing them with personalized support and the tools that they need to be successful on this campus. You'll hear me say successful all along because that's our objective. Our objective is we want to make sure that the students are active and involved with us are successful. Also, what are some of the unique challenges and barriers that our students face? I know economics is one. We have students now who don't have laptops. And so what we've done is written a grant, and we are developing a laptop loaner system for our students. So our students can come in, we'll loan them the laptop for a week or wherever, as long as it takes, so they can get their work done. Also, connecting students with mentors, advocates, and campus resources, making sure our students are connected. The more connected they are, the better off they'll be. And so when we look at our workshops, a lot of people think when they get our calendar, you do all these workshops? No, most of the time we have other departments doing workshops so our students can get to know who they are. Because the objective is this: if our students know a face or a name in a department, the chances of them now going to that department has now increased dramatically. And so a lot of outside departments at our institution are the ones who are doing the workshops. And then finally, last but not least, making sure that everything we're doing is aligning with our institutional goals and objectives. I'll go back to this and I'll turn it over to Tammy.
Thank you, Mr. Jackson. Our first generation program, we're going to highlight just a couple of our programs that we have in our office. Our first generation program, like Mr. Jackson stated earlier, is one of our largest programs in our office. In our first generation program, we highlight this program because our goals are to provide advocacy for our program for this population of students through scholarships, networking opportunities, financial literacy. We write a lot of grants in our office so that we can provide specific programming for these students. This year, we started using predictive analytics to target specific areas of first generation students in this group. This group is extremely big, so what we do is we pull out specific areas of this group. Specifically, we pull out our collegiate males, we pull out our females, any particular area of this particular group that we see may be struggling. We take the predictive analytics and we will pull that group of students out and target them specifically and say to them in either a letter or through Canvas, how can we particularly assist you with additional support services or networking opportunities or workshops or group events or things that students have indicated in a survey to us that they would like to see happening that would improve their student success in our office. Particularly, like, for example, we just sent out 750 Valentine's Day grams to those students in housing on campus saying, come to our office, these are the workshops for this month. Those grams included letters from other students, letters from our office, our contact information for students that lived in housing on our campus, because sometimes first generation students don't know what the challenges are. Sometimes they do know, but they don't know how to connect on campus. So those are some of the things that we did this month. But every single week they get something from our office, and every single month there's a program, a workshop that they can attend in our office or on campus. So in addition to that, we also have conferences, whether it's our first Welcome Back Conference, our Student Success Conference, or our National Male Student Success Conference, and we'll talk a little bit more about that one. These are some of the programs that we offer. Now, there are only 4 of us, so we offer 2 conferences to our students, to our first generation students. I mean, these conferences are paid for by our office and our institution. We have a Student Success Conference where we take our students, and we want our first generation students to have a nice experience, meaning we sometimes take them off campus to a 4-star resort or a hotel where we acclimate them to our campus and let them know what type of resources, because oftentimes we're dealing with the cognitive side of the student or the non-cognitive side, and letting them understand what they have as far as resources availability on our campus, and also helping them understand what the transition process and the barriers that they may face on our campus. So we bring them off campus and treat them to a weekend off campus and bring them back to campus. In addition to that, we also have a 21st century living learning community. We also have recognition ceremonies for them. We have in addition to that, we also have non-traditional students that also may attend those, but we make sure that those students know that they have an opportunity to be a part of a bigger population of students on campus.
Tam, you want to just stay right there for a second?
Mm-hmm.
You're looking at the Excellence in Action First Generation Recognition Program. Those are students who have a fall semester GPA of a 3.5 and also a cumulative 3.5. And so we had that about 2 weeks ago. And I think we have about 500.
500.
Around 500, somewhere in that range. Now, you would think, right, that, oh man, I enjoy this. You know what the students want most of all? No.
Certificates.
The certificates. That's all they want. They just want to know that they have been recognized with a certificate that they did well academically. I was like, is that hard? And I'll speak very briefly on the Student Success Conference. The reason why we do that, because I'm a believer of college is an experience. Mm-hmm. And see, I'm thinking long term, because I'm thinking if college is an experience and they're enjoying their experience, 10 years down the line when I call them and ask them for money,
They're going to give back.
they're going to give it to me. And that's already started. We have some students now that are giving us $500 scholarships, and they just graduated like 4 years ago. Because it's an experience. And so all the things we do are trying to provide students with experiences
no, you're fine. All of these students are also in our predictive analytics. So we target these students out of our data, whether they're high risk, moderate risk, and that's how we come up with the numbers of how and who will attend each of these events. Some of the data shows that these students that attend our events and our conferences, and this is just an example, outperform students in our general population of students. We track every single student that attends any of our events, and these students are, as you can see, they perform higher than the general population of students, and they also return they return repeatedly to our mass events over and over and over again. Jeremy?
So outside of the first gen, we actually did another subgroup, is collegiate males. Because we all know they are very hard and difficult to deal with. So they are first gen and collegiate. Woo, let me tell you. It'll be the easy task, but we have worked together, as Ms. Tammy and Mr. Jackson said, as a team collectively and kind of got in the trenches with them. So over some of the things that we did with the analytics, predictive analytics, we have came up with some things that was seeing that were identified barriers. And some of the identified barriers were the time management, biggest thing on them. They wait till the last minute on anything that they do. If it's registration, is it going to get in the book, or whatever, or housing, and then understand UCL is very large. I only been there for 1 year, and as a professional, I was kind of scared. I came from a small school, as a professional, as an undergrad and a master's, I was like, man, I'm going in one way and out the other way. So I had to start thinking like a student. So we developed a Collegiate Male Institute to kind of help wrap around those services, and you can look at some of our. Right now, our multicultural ones for the things was 967. It was generally Hispanic and African American males. This is our first cohort that we just did this past year. This new cohort is actually 1,467 in this new cohort, and it actually added in Native American, Asian, Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander. So we added all these in, but it's still the same results of limited resources and limited people that we have. But guess what? We do a good job of what we do. So we have the different pillars, which is the academic skill and enrichment. So we work with Academic Resource Center, we work with faculty members to develop different programs with our workshops to get them acclimated to what the college assessment is. Because the biggest thing, they got to understand why they're there, what's their motivation, what's their persistence in getting their degree. Because at the end of the thing, I'm a first generation student, so I bring a lot of my own personal influences into my daily meetings and tell them it starts with you and ends with you. So all the things that we do, we try to put it in their terms and meet them where they are to get them where we want them to be. And so pillar 2 is achieving leadership development. We have 650 student organizations on campus. They're going to see them before they see us. So we get a lot of our students say, hey, please be a part of one of these different events, one of these different groupings, so you can get a connection to the community. Because the biggest thing that a first gen is always talking about, where's my family? Those 650 student organizations will be one of your family members. And then once you see them, when they start seeking them and start believing in them, guess who they're going to say? Hey, go see Mr. J. Go see Mr. Jackson. And sometimes they get us confused because both my name is Jeremy and Mr. Wayne is Mr. Jackson. And so when they come in the office, can I speak to Mr. J? And we both like, which one you want to talk to? But the biggest thing is we want to create that feel of hominess, sense of belonging. So that's what we want to do in that leadership development and reframing tomorrow. Because our first gen is our new leaders on campus, our new leaders in the communities. So that's, I think, the biggest thing that we want to do is develop the leaders that's already inside them. Next one is mentorship program. We have mentorship programs through Brother to Brother. We have community partners to come back. Because I just had a meeting with them. They said, hey, you're a part of this system. You got to actually have other people to come out and explain the same thing that you were saying to them so they can actually see past you and see the end goal. So that's the biggest thing we're doing with our mentorship programs. Then our fourth one, collegiate male aspiring to be successful. That means our career. You got to take the degree to your career pathways and understand why you're in that degree. If you're just going to class and reading through the material and passing a grade, that means you ain't learned it. You memorized it, you got good on the class, but what are you taking from practice to theory to real life situations? So that's what we do our conferences, bringing alumni back, bringing different community partners back, just to get them to understand. The things that we were saying on the front end is going to take you to that lasting thing of getting that piece of paper. Because that piece of paper can be 40 cents, worth 40 cents, or go worth a 40 to 50 year career. It depends on how you do it. I always tell my students, you're your own author, you're your own story. You can add things in, you can take things out, but the things that you gotta do, you gotta start with a motivation, that drive to wanna be successful. In the first gen, you already did the hardest part. You came to school. And I tell you that, I had a hard time going to class. I was a student athlete. I had most of my school paid for, but the end of the thing is, I was like, man, why am I in here? Why am I sitting here? But I gotta keep going. Then the next pillar is social justice and social advocacy. I think the biggest thing is dealing with masculinity, dealing with how to become a good father, a good husband, and all those different things. So we want to show them what it is in today's time to represent yourself very well, because this is your brand, this is your first job. So that's our Mass Student Success Conference. So I said all those type of things. And guess what big numbers come out? We actually had a 91% retention of our first year collegiate males. And just to work with myself and Ms. Tammy, we did a communication plan. We did emails, phone calls, specialized events. We did a exam cram. We went bowling. We did these all type of things that got to get them to say, hey, we are here for you. We're going to invest in you, but you got to invest in yourself. So I'm going to turn it on back to Ms. Tammy.
Thank you, Jeremy. Another one of our target populations that we work with are our foster care students. And many of you know, if you work with foster care students, that sometimes those students have dismal outcomes. Our foster care students are sometimes very hard to motivate, and sometimes they don't see the vision at the end of the tunnel. But we have a very successful foster care program, and many of these students, 100% of them are first-generation students as well. We offer the transition to college for this population of students as well. And we are very successful. We have the highest number of foster care, homeless, and adoptive students attending the University of Central Florida. All total, we have over 175 students. Our program serves, in the foster care program, 70 and 62 are involved in our Night Alliance program with a 90% persistence rate. We graduated 19 foster care youth last year. We are also nationally recognized. Our program is also nationally recognized, one of 3 in the state, as being foster care friendly. So we're very proud of our foster care program. We also have a first-generation living and learning community. We piloted that program because living and learning communities are traditionally known to have better success rates for first-generation students. We started with a pilot program of 15. We are expanding that living and learning community this year to over 150 students, so we are excited about that as well. Mr. J, you want to talk about the Access program a little bit?
We have a summer bridge program that involves 3 offices, the Mass office, our first year advising office, and our student academic resource center. And so what we do is last year we brought in about 387 students. This year we're looking to bring in about 487. Now one of the reasons why it's expanding, because when you look at the retention rate is higher than university average. And so you're providing these services for students. And so what the administration is saying is if students are doing so well, and these students that come in are conditional admits, if they don't get a C average in both of their classes or meet all of their requirements, they don't come back in the fall. So these are all conditional admits with a 90% retention rate. And so you can see our 6-year graduation rate and those types of things. But, you know, one of the things is like anything, when you're building a house, it starts with a strong foundation. We're providing these students with a strong foundation. I just had, matter of fact, I have to write a recommendation letter now because one of my students just contacted me. She's interested in going to law school. One of our students now is in the FBI, and so another one is in the Secret Service. So they are everywhere because what we've tried to do is help them to understand that even when you leave this university, we're still here for you. That doesn't stop. Just because you graduate doesn't mean that you can't call us up and let us know how you're doing or let us know if you've got a problem or a question. You know, we're still going to be here for our students. You can go to the next slide. Some of our recognitions, Mass was awarded, this is the old one, it should be the 2016 NASPA Award. So in 2016, we received the NASPA Award for Outstanding National Programs. In 2010, we received the NACADA Outstanding Advising see SOAR and you see Pegasus because they used to be separate. We used to be responsible for SOAR, the Student Academic Resource Center used to be responsible for Pegasus. We've now merged the two. And so now what it's called is called the Access Program, but as you can see, both of the programs were award winners. And then we were also recognized as one of 7 diversity champions nationwide. That's the goal, right there, graduation. But not only just graduation, what we're trying to do is actually prepare our students for success. Like, I ask students all the time, do you have an elevator speech? And they're looking at me like, what is that? You need to go to career services.
Thank you.
We do it all the time. Because what we're trying to do, as I said from the beginning, is get them to the experts. They want to go to graduate school, we tell them about AAP, or we tell them about getting involved with undergraduate research. Because as I tell students, if you want to go to graduate school, you'll get in. That's not a problem. What we're trying to do is get our students to graduate school and have somebody else pay for it. So we have students that have graduated from Vanderbilt, University of Chicago, Arizona, UC Berkeley, all over the country, and many of them got full rides. Because, as I tell my sons, they listen. Listening is fundamental. But anyway, we will open it up. But let me just say this, because I'm going to do a shout out for my staff, because you can see we do a lot. All right? And they work hard. Sometimes I'm getting emails at 3 in the morning from Tammy. Jeremy sometimes is here till 8, 9, 10 o'clock when he's not supposed to be. But because we're big, we don't have an option. Because as I tell my staff, these students here, they're our future. And so we have to do everything in our power to help them get through this institution so that they can be successful. Because if they're successful, then that means my social security is good. Really good. So we'll open up for questions for our